away, and what have we heard from the agencies and the road ahead? As in, what possibly now, Shravan, will happen on the entire case now?
Well, I'll answer that question as far as what happens next in a short while from now. But let me just quickly recap this for all our viewers, especially given the fact that for the agencies who have been silently working on it, they do not perhaps want to come on the forefront and talk about what they have essentially done. But let me take this moment to at least congratulate our investigative agencies, the CBI as well as the Enforcement Directorate, primarily on two counts. One, they have meticulously put out evidence and something which has now been reflected in the order copy that has been accessed by Republic TV, in which you can clearly see, Deepthi, that the UK court is absolutely convinced of the evidence that has been put on the table with regards to this entire case, and I'll take our viewers through those details also. Now, the CBI essentially is saying, our sources within the agency says that for the first time, a person who faces an extradition has been behind bars for almost 2 years, and that's a huge victory. Look at what happened with Vijay Bale. He was arrested, he was granted bail immediately. But in the case of Nirav Modi, he's been behind bars for 2 years. And not just that, 7 times his bail plea was rejected by the court. He was basically declared a flight risk. If at all bail would have been granted, then he would have been a flight risk. And that is something that the Enforcement Directorate as well as the CBI through the Crown Prosecution Service were able to basically convince that he was trying to intimidate witnesses. Now, just quickly, let me just take our viewers through what exactly has the court have to say with regards to the investigation that has been carried out by the CBI. Now, the CBI's main role was to basically prove the fact that Nirav Modi, as well as his family members, his brother Nishal and Nehal Modi, they were working in connivance with the bank officials, and they were fraudulently acquiring LOUs to get bank credits from other banks, foreign-based banks. Now, this is exactly what the court had to say. The submission that the PNB had provided the companies with a long-established, largely unsecured LOU credit facility operated in an ordinary way and in plain sight is not supported by the evidence that the LOUs were not entered in the bank's CBS system. So basically what was happening is that LOUs were given to Nirav Modi, but those LOUs were never reflected in the banking system. And this is something that has now been accepted by the UK court, that yes, between 17th October and 13th November 2017, 6 LOUs were issued to the companies approved by the CDF managers. Now, in this order itself, there is another part where they're clearly saying, I do not accept the submissions that Nirav Deepak Modi was involved in legitimate business and using the LOUs in a permissible fashion. Now, this is in the section with regards to the CBI's investigation. Now, quickly coming to the Enforcement Directorate's submissions before the court. Now, the Enforcement Directorate basically submitted recordings of several dummy directors in Nirav Modi's companies who were basically hauled up in Cairo. They were basically threatened. Their statements have been recorded before the court, and the court has taken cognizance of those very witnesses. And as far as ED's case is concerned, they are saying that this is a clear-cut case of money laundering. Now, quickly answering, Deepthi, your question as to what happens next. Yes, this is a long-drawn process. Round 1, we have won. What happens next? Within the next 2 months, you would see the UK Home Secretary, Preeti Patel, taking a final call as far as the extradition request is concerned. Now, that's as per procedure. Meanwhile, one would certainly expect that the counsel of Nirav Modi would approach the High Court, appealing before the High Court against this magistrate's order, which would perhaps also require submissions once again being made by the Crown Prosecution Service. And of course, the last option available before Nirav Modi is to file an application before the UK government applying for a political asylum.
Okay, but considering, Shravan, that there is a mountain hole of evidence against this man, it'll be only fair to say that evidence is the only thing that works or does not work in court. So, that is something that the agencies have done their best to put out.